Gentlemen, we've all been at an awful lot of Grey Cup games. I can't imagine one that has been anticipated more than this one. The Montreal Alouettes and the Edmonton Eskimos in what should be not only an outstanding game for a Grey Cup game, but may well be the best game we've seen in a long, long time. The Edmonton Eskimos will have Larry Highbaugh, number 13, and Greg Butler, number 28, inside their 5-yard line. And up at the 10, it'll be Joe Holloman, awaiting the kickoff from Don Sweet. 53,000 here in the stadium. We know 5 or 6 million watching across the country. We're excited about it. We know that you are too, and we're just seconds away from 1978 Grey Cup action. And this is Holloman at the 15. Holloman with a good return out to the 45-yard line, and he affords the Eskimos outstanding field position. A 50-yard kickoff by Don Sweet, a 23-yard return with Larry Smith, 36, and Chuck McMahon, 33, there to contain him. But the Eskimos will start from their 43.5-yard line with Tom Wilkinson, of course, the start at quarterback, Jim Germany, 25, and Don Warrington, 21, are his 2 setbacks. Wilkinson quickly fires. The pass is complete to Tom Scott for a gain of about 2 or 3. And Mike, you said that they'd come out throwing, and they certainly didn't waste any time.
Boy, I'll tell you, Vernon Perry was on Tom Scott right now. They know that Tom Wilkinson likes the short passing game. They're ready for it. If Wilkie sees too much of that, though, you think he might go upfield with it.
Well, he had George McGowan on the same side that time, Mike, breaking to the inside, but Scotty was open. It's a very short gain, just over a yard.
McGowan on the same side once again as Scott. Stu Lang and Waddell Smith are on the left side of your screen. Wilkinson delivers. It is complete to Waddell Smith. He has the first down inside Montreal territory at about the 53.5-yard line. Jim Burrow was there to make the stop for the Alouettes, but a big 12-yard gain. And very impressively, the Eskimo offense moves into Montreal territory.
Didn't take them too long to go to the side where Bruce Taylor is trying to effect coverage. He was the man they were able to victimize on that particular pattern.
Waddell Smith switches sides this time. He's at the bottom of your screen, and McGowan is at the top. Now, this is Jim Germany. And with great effort, Jim Germany gets inside Montreal's 45 to about the 43.
I'll tell you, an excellent job by Glenn Wearinger, number 64, who had lined up over offensive center Bob Howes. He gets rid of Howes right away, but Germany manages to get by him and pick up a nice gain on the play. That great maneuverability of Weir, number 64.
First down for the Eskimos.
Those linebackers may tend to play off a little bit, too, because of the short passing game of Wilkinson. If he sees that, you know that he's going to come in with that quick hitter to Germany. A very respectable runner who picked up almost 900 yards over the course of the regular season.
And on that occasion, gained 11 as the Eskimos pick up a first down on their first running play of the ball game. Ball is at the Montreal 43-yard line. Wilkie sets up the screen to Germany. Grinnell got trapped inside, and Germany gets another first down inside the 30-yard line, forced out by Randy Rhino, but not before the 14-yard pickup.
I'll tell you, a very key block by Eric Upton, the left offensive guard on this screen to the left side. Watch Upton move to the outside, and he's the one that finally picks up Carl Cornell, who's the only Montreal Alouette that has a chance to stop this screen at the line of scrimmage. There's his block right there. Germany manages to get outside of him. An impressive drive so far, Mike, by the Eskimos.
They have taken the opening kickoff and now find themselves at the Montreal 28 with another first down. The give is inside to Warrington. He runs into Quinnell, among others, and Glenn Weir, and gains maybe a yard. But excellent play selection by Wilkinson during this entire march, mixing the running and the passing game and doing it effectively. Incidentally, Wilkinson is 3 for 3 in the passing game so far for a total of 28 yards. It is 2nd and 8. Edmonton at the Montreal 27-yard line.
understand how he can make any mistake about that not being a free ball.
So many times, Frank, we've seen it. There have been some close calls, but this time there's no doubt about it. Tom Wilkinson is turning behind to try to dump it off to Germany. He considers it a forward pass, obviously not going after it, just gave it up. But Chuck Zapek, always alert, right on it, and a big turnover.
I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, Mike, you should always go after that football, whether there's any question about it or not.
And now the Alouettes, with the fumble recovery, take over at their 52-yard line with Joe Barnes at quarterback, John O'Leary, and David Green. And this is Green, wrapped up early by David Boone, number 64, but his momentum carried him for very close to 5 yards. There's a look at the Montreal running backs and the receivers. And really the man that you have to watch is number 26, David Green. Came on midway through this season and has really been impressive, certainly in the last 3 games. Second and 6 Alouettes. Barnes is dropped back at his own 43-yard line by Dave Fennell, number 65.
You know, Mike, in the pregame show, I talked about that big split in the offensive line of the Montreal Alouettes, and this time it works to their disadvantage because watch Fennell. He makes his first move straight ahead and then goes to the inside, and he makes the ultimate sack. Smith from the inside, the offensive center, fails to pick him up as Fennell just uses his great size to smash right through the left guard, who's Watron, and Smith as well.
And so with the 14-yard loss, the Alouettes are punting on 3rd and very close to 22 yards. Sonny Wade stands inside his 30-yard line to punt to Butler and Highbaugh. Not a good punt by Sonny. Now Jones falls on the ball, and the Alouettes are going to be called for no yards at about the Edmonton 48-yard line. Poor punt by Sonny Wade of just 28 yards. And so the Eskimos, following the penalty, are going to take over in Montreal territory. We've got 5 minutes played in this opening quarter, no score. And Grey Cup 78 returns in just a moment. Well, obviously a lot of people from Parry Sound and people from right across the country here at Exhibition Stadium this afternoon watching 2 outstanding football clubs, and both failing to capitalize on opportunities early. The Eskimos with a swing pass that Jim Germany thought should have been a forward pass, but it was very obviously a lateral one, recovered by Chuck Zapek, and the Eskimo defense came up big. So now Edmonton with a first down inside the Montreal 50, and the give is to Germany. He gets back to the line of scrimmage and no further. Vern Perry and Glenn Weir were there to bring him down right at the line of scrimmage.
Right, we're seeing the excellent defensive play that we expected from both sides. Seemed that Tom Wilkinson had the Alouettes on the ropes a bit during that initial drive, but they seem to recover pretty well.
And you see the mobility of Glenn Weir, just an outstanding defensive tackle as you look at that Montreal front 7. The 2nd and 10 Eskimos. Wilkinson throws. It is complete. A flag comes down as McGowan gets inside the 40. Vern Perry wraps him up at that point, but there is a flag down on the play.
I'll tell you one thing we've been impressed with, Mike, I think you'd agree all year long, is that front 4 of the Alouettes, but this time they bring Carl Cornell from that middle linebacking spot, and Upton, the fellow that made the good block on Cornell on the screen pass, picks him up. Montreal doesn't blitz all that often, but here comes Cornell, number 72, and they do a good job of providing protection for Wilkie.
The Alouettes, of course, like to bring that blitz quite a bit. They'll try to put a lot of pressure on Wilkie, but no one reads it better than him. And I'm sure that Coach Huey Campbell has that offensive line ready to pick it up.
Well, you saw referee Don Barker give the signal. It was pass interference called against number 23, Tony Proudfoot. It is automatic first down Eskimos at the Montreal 31-yard line. McGowan is flanked out of your picture on the right-hand side of that Edmonton offense. The give is to Warrington inside. He gets to the 30 and not much further as Carl Cornell moved in very quickly and got some help from Glenn Weir, too.
Pretty good example of the contact that's going on out there so far, wasn't it, Pat, with the hit by Cornell, number 72.
You know, an awful lot of people have talked about Dan Kepley, and justifiably so because of his play. Carl Cornell, year in and year out, though, always has to be one of the best in the country.
There's a good look at Tom Wilkinson, who finds himself with a second down, 9 to go for the first down from the Montreal 30. Throws, Tom Scott makes the catch. No, they rule no catch. He was hit by Proudfoot, and the contact forced him to give up the ball, and so what would have been a first down turns into a 3rd and 9 for Edmonton.
Tommy Scott, the leading receiver for the Edmonton Eskimos this season, caught an awful lot of them to the inside, but that's where the Alouettes, of course, have their strength. They're working to the sidelines, trying to stay away from the outstanding coverage of Randy Rhino.
And for the first time this afternoon, we are going to see Mr. David Cutler. And his field goal try will come from 37 yards out. Randy Rhino is the lone Montreal defender standing in the end zone about 18 yards deep. Cutler is good. And the Eskimos have hit the scoreboard. They lead it 3-0 with 7 minutes and 52 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. Well, we'll be back. Grey Cup 78 will continue after this.
I have an appointment.
Nice car, mister. You pay extra for everything?
No, sir. The 79 Chevette comes very well equipped.
Look here, girl. AM radio.
Oh, and the reclining seat too, Papa.
I see a console and the fancy new grill.
Hey, Papa's got Radio White Wall.
Okay. First we buy Chevette. Then we have celebration! 79 Chevette's a lot of little car for the money.
We're back at Exhibition Stadium, where the Edmonton Eskimos have just put up the first points on the board. It is 3-0 on the field goal by Dave Cutler, and the Alouettes now take over at their 35-yard line. The give is to David Green. The ball comes loose, and the Eskimos have recovered at the Montreal 35. The outstanding defensive player of 1978 comes up with the fumble recovery.
What an outstanding play by number 28, Greg Butler, the inside safety who had containment. He beats his block right there. He's the one that causes Green to go off balance and the ball just to fly out of his arms, and from there the Edmonton Eskimos were able to recover, but it was Greg Butler who had the containment, who made the big play.
These ball clubs are playing like they got a lot of rookies out there, guys. 2 big mistakes in this first quarter already.
Let's see if the Eskimos can capitalize now with a first down inside the 35. The give is to Angelo Santucci, and the ex-Hamilton Tican gets all the way to about the 25-yard line, and he'll be close to another first down.
Mike, I want to show you something I think is very interesting. Bill Stevenson, at that right offensive guard, appeared that he did not have the snap count. He was a little late in getting off the football, and it works out great. He's working against guard Judges, and Judges comes down to the inside, and Stevenson rolls him right down in there, creating a big hole for Santucci.
I'll tell you who did have a big play on that one, though, Frank. Number 22, Tom Scott. Not only a great receiver, but look what he does to the outside here. He and McGowan seal in the contained man and allow Santucci to get a little room to the outside.
No, Pat, I don't think anybody thought that the Edmonton Eskimos are going to be able to move the ball that effectively so far in the first 8 or 9 minutes of this ball game. Every time they've had it, they just certainly have not put anything in the end zone yet, but they've been moving the ball effectively.
And running the ball effectively, which to me is the surprise.
Well, they took that opening kickoff, got good field position. Lost it then, of course, because of that lateral pass that Zapek picked up, but they just stymied the Alouette attack.
And it's second and about a foot to go for the first down at the 25. Wilkinson keeps it and has the first down, the 4th for the Eskimos. So far in this opening quarter, the Owls have yet to register one.
You know, gentlemen, it's not unusual early in the game for one club to get an early lead. The Eskimos, with Wilkinson in their passing game, if that had happened, they could recoup from it. The Alouettes, however, absent a great passing attack this year, if the Edmonton Eskimos take an early lead and a big one, it'll be questionable whether or not the Owls can come back from it.
So the Eskimos now with a first down at the Montreal 23-yard line. The give is to Germany. Germany gets about 3 to the 20. Runs into Gabriel Gregoire, number 62, and gets 3 to make it 2nd and 7 for the Eskimos at the Alouette 20-yard line.
Mike, aren't you surprised that the Eskimos are running almost every first down? I thought they'd fill the ball.
Well, I think that one of the things is they're looking at those linebackers and they're playing off, Frank. They're trying to be fluid for the way Wilkie throws that short passing game, clearing the backs and hitting quickly to Scott and Lang. They're playing off a little bit, and he's taking advantage of it.
Wilkinson unloads to Germany. He does not get the first down. He's knocked out at about the 15-yard line and would appear to be about 1.5 yards short. Vern Perry, the cornerback on that side, number 37, was there to force him out. Incidentally, that was the 14th play of this opening quarter for the Eskimos. The Alouettes have had but 4.
Yeah.
And with 3rd and very close to 2, they're going to go for the field goal.
This is something that wasn't called. Tom Wilkinson had been looking downfield, and that's one of the reasons why he had to go to his safety valve, Jim Germany.
Cutler has accounted for all the points in the ball game to this stage in time. It's 3-0 Eskimos, and he will try the field goal now from 22 yards out. They fake it and misses. Tom Scott inside. He has the first down inside the 10-yard line. The fake field goal with the little toss by Wilkinson to the inside back, Tom Scott.
Absolutely beautiful. I didn't even see Scott coming from that slot back on the inside. Wilkie just shoveled it forward. They pick up the first down very easily.
And a pretty good block in the contained man who was coming in intent on getting the block on the what he expected to be attempted field goal.
You know, had Charlie Turner not gotten his way, Scotty must have could have went a lot further. Joe Scanella, I'm sure, just a little surprised by that one.
The gain was 8 yards. It's first down Eskimos. The pass is complete and forced out of bounds is Angelo Santucci at about the 3-yard line.
And Mike, I think that's the kind of thing where we're really looking for on first down. Just that quick pass that you've talked about already a couple of times. They seem to be going more to the outside today, but they're still hitting them very quickly.
They've got that Montreal defense reeling. They're floating.
I think you're a little confused right now, Pat. I think you're right.
The ball is actually spotted at the 2. First, let's make it 2nd and touchdown to go from that point. 2nd down. The give is to Germany. He's in for the touchdown.
I'll tell you, there is nothing fancy at all about this play. There's no trap blocks, cross blocks, or anything else. Bill Stevenson on the right side, along with Turner, just blocked to the outside, along with tight end, in this case, George McGowan, and everybody blocks to the outside. Germany just manages to turn it up inside and scores very easily.
Nice cut in behind Angelo Santucci. As you pointed out, the Alouette defense, valiant but a little confused because Wilkie's throwing just about everything at them.
Butler's point after is good. We've got 4 minutes, 7 seconds left to play in this opening quarter, and the Eskimos have jumped out in front 10-0.
You know, a very smart time for Coach Hugh Campbell to have elected to go for the fake on that attempted field goal. They were deep in Alouette territory, scrimmaging from about the 15-yard line. Had they been unsuccessful with it, they still wouldn't have been in any trouble because they really had the Alouette offense intact. They haven't been able to move the ball effectively against the Eskimo defense. So very little at risk, really. And as it turned out, it paid off in spades for them.
I couldn't agree with you more, but Pat, you were talking about how many Grey Cups we've collectively covered. I don't think I've ever seen a fake field goal, or I can't remember the last time I saw one in a contest this important. That's Tom Scott, I believe, on the sideline being looked at. Looks like it might be a shoulder injury or something.
Cutler is set and kicks it to Green at about the 12-yard line. Green is dropped by Ian Brines, first man downfield as he crosses the 25 to about the 26. Don Whitman, what's happening at field level?
That's Don Warrington being treated at the Edmonton Eskimo bench, what appears to be a shoulder injury. Warrington has been replaced by Angelo Santucci at that running back position alongside Jim Germany. But the doctors are working on him, and they'll be trying to get him back in.
Well, thank you, Don. There's an injured Montreal player, and it appears to be David Green. Now, that would be a serious blow, just as Don Warrington's injury could be very serious to the Eskimos. But without Green, who really has been the bread and butter of that Montreal ground attack for the last 3 or 4 games, the Als, trailing 10-0, are going to find themselves in real jeopardy.
We'll see if we can pick something up right here, Pat. Take another look at it. He gets jarred pretty good right there. Now, whether it's a shoulder or not, I don't know. He seemed to be hit most forcibly in the upper body. He might just be a little groggy. He'll have to go out for at least one, but I'm sure we'll see him back shortly.
Looked like Ron Este that got the second piece of him, Mike, after Bryant's made initial contact, but he doesn't appear to be seriously injured.
Normally when Green goes out, Ian Mofford comes in. Let's look and see. Yes, he is. The other running back, along with John O'Leary, behind quarterback Joe Barnes. Gets about 7 or 8 yards. He's forced out by York Henschel, number 69. As the Als find themselves in a hole, down 10-0, with 3 minutes and 39 seconds left to play in this opening quarter.
I think Barnes wanted to try to set up and throw, but he just didn't get a chance. Big Dave Fennell was overshifted. Did a great job in pursuit.
Absolutely right, Mike. I think Dave has already shown in the first 12 minutes of this ball game why he's been picked the outstanding defensive player in the country this year.
The Alouettes have not put the ball in the air so far this afternoon and are unlikely to do so here on 2nd and 2. The give is inside to John O'Leary, and he'll be very close to the first down and appears to have it somewhere around the 38-yard line, and that is the first Montreal first down of the ball game. York Henschel, number 69, there once again to make the stop as they move the sticks. Well, old Klondike made it down once again this year. Klondike Mike didn't have his mule, unfortunately. Said it was too expensive to bring him this trip. Got to be happy right now, though, with the Eskimos in front, 10-0. Wishes he wasn't, because he only got about 1.5 yards. David Boone, 64, was there to bring him down for the Eskimos. Well, the Eskimos have certainly done a number here early in this opening quarter. They're out in front 10-0, and Grey Cup 78 returns in a moment. We've got 2 minutes, 50 seconds left to play in this first quarter. The Eskimos lead it 10-0, and the Alouettes have a 2nd and 9 from their 38-yard line. Barnes puts it up deep for Bob Gaddis. He's got it at the 35. And Holloman has him at about the 30-yard line. Bob Gaddis was all alone at the 35, and had the pass not been a floater, he might well have gone for the major score.
I'll tell you, you cannot fault Joe Barnes for that floater. It was a miracle he was able to get it away because of the rush. Somebody hit him just as he was releasing the ball. But what a post pattern by Bob Gaddis. People thought that he might be hampered because of a groin injury, but he still has that speed, doing a great job against Greg Butler and Joe Holloman.
And Mike, you know, one of the reasons he was so wide open is Joe Holloman kind of stumbled on that play as Gaddis went by him.
The gain was 41 yards. First down, Montreal at the Edmonton 31.5. Barnes has another first down at about the 21-yard line. He was hammered by Dan Kepley and Ed Jones, but showing good speed was the Montreal quarterback.
We talked an awful lot about Dan Kepley. Does a great job working against number 50 Bonnet and 52 Watrin to get into the play.
But I'll tell you, Mike, there's one thing they cannot do, and that's Ron Este takes the inside route here, and against a quarterback that can run as good as Joe Barnes, you just can't do it. You'll see Este come to the inside being pinned in there, and Barnes goes around the right side for another first down for Montreal.
The ball is at the Eskimo 21-yard line. This is David Green. Green gets inside the 20 to about the 19. Dan Kepley and Tom Towns were there to close the corner down, and the gain is about a yard or two.
We'll take a look at Dan Kepley, but once again, the key man in the play is number 28, Greg Butler, the inside safety, who causes Green to come back to the inside, and that great lateral movement by number 42 is sufficient to get him into the play then, but you must contain Green, force him back to the inside, then Kepley's going to give you a lot of help.
Well, they've done a pretty good job so far with 7 yards and 4 carries.
It is 2nd and 8 Alouettes at the Edmonton 19. And Barnes is dropped by David Boone back at the 26-yard line.
Mike, you know, I was just talking about the containment. You have to contain a quarterback like Joe Barnes, and watch how David Boone does it here. He really doesn't get great penetration initially, but he just strings it out and keeps Barnes contained to the inside until he finally makes a stop. Just a great job of getting away from the initial contact, and then Bonnet can't pick him up.
I think they had their wide receiver try to cut him down at the line, but he did a great job just jumping over him and making that big play.
The second sack by that Edmonton defensive unit for a total of 21 yards, and that forces Don Sweet into a field goal try from 32.5 yards. And he is good. And the Alouettes are on the scoreboard with just 9 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. It is now Edmonton 10, Montreal 3.
You know, Pat, one thing we haven't talked about as far as weather conditions here are concerned, the sun is really creating some havoc with the people on the left side of your screen. I'm not sure where I'm at, north, south, east, or west, but I think you'll see that as the receivers, Holloman and Highball, have gone back there. They're having a tough time seeing that ball when it's up high.
Well, I'll tell you, it might be havoc with the receivers, but we are being treated to a most entertaining football team. Both clubs now starting to move the ball well, and yet when they're getting down into scoring territory, the defense is giving everything that you would have expected.
That Montreal drive started at their own 26-yard line, and it culminates in a very important field goal, because it would have been a tremendous boost for the Eskimos to take that 10-0 lead into the second quarter. It is now 10-3. We've got a ball game going, as we knew, as you take a look now at the commissioner of the CFL, Jake Gadar, and the Premier of Ontario, Mr. Bill Davis, and his wife. The Eskimos have elected to take the kickoff rather than the ball at their 35-yard line. So Don Sweet tees it up, and the Eskimos send deep Larry Highbaugh, number 13, and Greg Butler, number 28, awaiting at their 15-yard line. Sweet squibs it down to Ian Bryans. Bryans fumbles the ball. Pete Laborato picks it up, and he gets extra yardage into Montreal territory at about the 52-yard line. It was only a 30-yard kickoff by Sweet, plus the return by Bryans, and Pete Laborato gets it inside Montreal's side of midfield at the 51-yard line.
First down, Eskimos.
And this will likely be the final play of this opening quarter. It's been an impressive one offensively for the Eskimos, who start once again in good field position. With all kinds of time, a flag is down. Wilkinson puts it up for McGowan. He does not hang on, trying to make a fingertip catch at the Montreal 25. And with the flag down around the line of scrimmage, you have to anticipate a holding call against the Eskimos, also considering the fact that Wilkinson had so much time.
I'll tell you, a great job by George McGowan at that sideline, though. He was pretty tightly covered by the time the ball arrived. Fighting like mad to stay inbound, just couldn't quite squeeze it.
The holding call was against the left offensive guard, number 57, Eric Upton.
You're absolutely right, Pat. And if you take a look at Upton, you'll see the holding call. He's working against Glenn Weir, and he just almost tackles Weir as he goes by him. Howes has to pick up Weir, but the call is going against the Eskimos. It'll be 2nd and 20, or 1st and 20, I should say, and this should be, again, the last play of the first quarter.
Well, of course, the period cannot end on a penalty call, so it is 1st and 20 back at the Eskimos' 49-yard line. Wilkinson clears it up to Santucci. He does not hang on. That was a forward pass, no doubt about it. And Santucci then took a pretty good hit from Jim Burrow. As the first quarter of play comes to an end, the Eskimos impressively out in front, 10-3. And Grey Cup 78 will continue after this.
Larry Heimbach, quite a contrast to a year ago in Montreal.
Yes, the weather is fantastic for this time of year, and I just hope it don't rain or snow over, in the next 5 minutes.
What happened on that long pass?
Well, we was in a zone, and man, Butler just got beat to the inside on a deep one, and it's just something that we have to just rush the quarterback more, because you can't give a quarterback a lot of time like that.
Let's go back upstairs to Pat Morrison.
Wilkinson in an awful lot of trouble, buries himself back at the Eskimo 44-yard line. Did a good job of scrambling initially, and then the roof caved in.
If it appeared that he was running around in circles, he was. And an awful lot of it was due to the big rush of number 77, Junior Ayew. They only had a three-man front. John Olenchuk had come in as the fourth linebacker in this obvious passing situation, 2nd and 20. They had the receivers pretty well covered, but it was the initial rush by Junior Ayew.
And I think, Mike, the fact that it was 2nd and 20 was very significant there, because if it had been 2nd and 10, I think Wilkie could have possibly taken off and picked up the 10 yards, but he knew he had to have the big play.
On 3rd and 25, Hank Olisic will be punting for the first time in this game for the Eskimos. An end-over-end ball that will bounce in front of Rhino. He takes it at his 20. Randy Rhino with a brilliant return to the 47-yard line and tripped up by Angelo Santucci, the last man. A 45-yard punt. A brilliant 26-yard return by Randy Rhino. And the Alouettes, instead of starting deep in a hole, find themselves at their 46-yard line.
You know, the Edmonton Eskimos have spent the entire week before this day drilling number 21, how we're going to cover him on the punt return, but he gets initial blocking and some tremendous burst coming through that initial opening. Randy Rhino, he's done so much for them.
The give is to David Green. Inside, picks his way for more than a 5-yard gain. As a matter of fact, he's out to about the 52-yard line. York Henschel, number 69, there to make the tackle. Nifty run by David Green, good for about 7 yards. Well, you take a look at the first quarter statistics, and you see that the Eskimos certainly dominated the time of possession, almost 2-1. And in total offense, they had 76 yards to Montreal's 48. But the Owls trail by just 7. It is 2nd and 3, Montreal. The give is to O'Leary. He was met right on the corner by Dale Potter. And it'll be interesting to see where the ball is placed. He appears to be short by a couple of yards. Bill Stevenson, what's happening?
All right, Dickie Harris, who is the ace corner and punt returner for the Montreal Alouettes, is with us. As you probably know, he's got that broken arm. But, Dickie, do you think that Edmonton offense surprised the Alouette defense?
Well, I don't know. I think they just got off to a good start. I thought we were a little sluggish there, and Edmonton, I think, was fired up and just got the jump on us. And they're a good football team, especially offensively, and they put some points early on the board.
What's the mood of the team, the Alouettes?
Well, I think we're starting to pick up now. You get some points. You just got to get some momentum sometime. You know, it's a big game. You're a little tight, and sometimes you're keyed up. You can't loosen it up until after a while, and I think we're finally coming around.
Thanks, Dickie. Now here's Pat.
Sonny Wade with a brilliant punt to Butler inside his 10, and he does a good job to get it out over the 15 to about the 18-yard line. 46-yard punt. It was high, though, and that was the hang time afforded the Alouette special team to get down and limit the return to 10 yards. John O'Leary was down to make the stop for the Alouettes. So really, for the first time in this ball game, the Eskimos start deep in a hole. They're out at their 17-yard line. 3 of the 4 times they started in the opening quarter, they started in Montreal territory. And on 2 occasions, they came up with points. It's a 10-3 ball game in favor of Edmonton. Wilkinson throws. It is complete to Waddell Smith. Now the ball came away, and they rule incomplete pass.
The Owls continuing with that 3-4 front. On that occasion, they brought Chuck Zapak up at the last moment as a fourth down lineman and also shot Carl Cornell. Wilkinson, recognizing this, wanted to get rid of it quickly. Had Smith there, he just couldn't squeeze it.
10 from the 17.
I'll tell you, I was just going to say, Pat, from our vantage point here, you can feel the hits and see the emotion running through these players.
There's no question about that as you take a look at Tom Wilkinson on 2nd and 10 from his 17. Wilkinson with a courageous run over the 25 to about the 26, but he appears to be short by about a yard.
For Wilkie to run at all is courageous because he's not known as a bodybuilder, you know.
3rd and 2.
Well, you can see his seasonal statistics would indicate that that's probably the only time we're going to see him run this afternoon. But the Alouettes hold, and now with 11 minutes and 50 seconds left in this first half, trailing 10-3, the Owls are going to get the ball back in pretty fair shape.
And Pat, I think that Dickie Harris's interview on the sideline is really accurate. The momentum seems to be swinging to the Alouettes after the Edmonton Eskimos opened so strongly.
Olisic's kit again, end over end, bounces back towards the Eskimos. Mofford picks it up, fumbles it out of bounds at about the Edmonton 53-yard line, so that's where Montreal will put it into play. It was a 28-yard punt by Olisic. No return, but the Alouettes are in pretty good field position.
Do you think maybe one of the most nervous guys in this whole field is Hank Olisic, the youngest player in the CFL? He hasn't gotten off a good kick yet, and he led the nation throughout the year.
Only 18 years old, isn't he?
He's 19, I believe, Pat, but he is the youngest player in the entire league.
We're all getting a little older, Frank.
Well, maybe he is.
That's a good look at Hank right there. Nice-looking young fellow, though.
Barnes sets up the screen for O'Leary. O'Leary gets inside the 45 to about the 43. He'll be a yard short of the first down with the stop made by Dave Fennell, number 65, the man they call Dr. Death.
I'll tell you, a nice move by O'Leary. It looked to me as if Dan Kempley had him lined up a little bit earlier, but look at the work of Dave Fennell in the middle. Shedding blocks like they're flies and getting back into the play. And that's a lot of good lateral movement by that big man, too.
The gain was 9. It is 2nd and 1. Montreal trailing by a converted touchdown. Full house backfield for the short yardage. And the give is to Green. Green is forced way back. Is nailed back at the 52-yard line by Craig Butler.
This man's play this afternoon has just been outstanding time and time again. Greg Butler has been coming up quickly on the containment. Here he forces Green back, pursues him, along with a little bit of help, and finally is able to take him down.
The loss was 5 yards as we go down to Don Whitman.
Don Warrington was injured in that first quarter. Don, are you going to be able to get back in?
I think I'll probably get back in maybe in the second half. We'll fix it up at halftime. It's pretty sore right now.
A shoulder problem?
Yeah. I sprained my shoulder, the AC joint or something.
Don, we hope you're able to get back in the second half. Okay, back upstairs to Pat.
Thank you, Don. Another good punt by Sonny Wade. This is Tom Scott at his 2-yard line, and he breaks out of there very close to the 15-yard line. Down quickly was John Olenchuk, number 41, and he hit him right in the chest. It's a 10-3 ball game in favor of the Edmonton Eskimos. We've got 9:50 to play in this second quarter. Grey Cup 78 returns in a moment. Here's a look at Joe Scannella, the first-year head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, and a look at the man who's guided the Eskimo fortunes for 2 seasons, both winning ones, Hugh Campbell. As the Eskimos start from their 14-yard line with a first down. They lead it 10-3. Give is inside to Germany. He gets out over the 15 to about the 17-yard line. Alouettes indicating that they had the ball, but the Eskimos say no chance.
Boy, just a big play by Glenn Weir once again. He's working against Eric Upton, the left offensive guard, and he just folds it down to the inside, limits the gain to about 3 yards. But Weir, the outstanding defensive player in the country a year ago, is having a big game once again.
Seemed that Eric might have had a bit of an edge on him for a while there, Frank, but Weir is just such a great athlete. He was able to come back just a little and get into
that quickness, didn't he?
The gain was 3 yards on the 4th carry of the ball game for Jim Germany. He's managed a total of 16 yards. Right now, it is 2nd and 7 Eskimos. The ball is at their 17. The draw goes to Germany. And Larry Utek was there to help out on the tackle after Germany crossed the 20 to about the 22, and he'll be short of the first down.
Utek and Taylor made the tackle.
The Alouette defense certainly settling down, I think you would agree, gentlemen. They've been able to contain the Eskimos on the last 3 series.
I think Tom Wilkinson was trying to take advantage of the middle on that last play because Carl Cornell was out for a bit and Wally Buono was in the middle, but they did a pretty good job of stacking it up. And Pat, I think you're right. They're settling into it, getting to find out what it is Wilkinson wants to do, and they're going to meet it. They're too talented to be just run over, I think, Frank.
I think Edmonton has a kind of offense, Pat, that's a little easier to defend when you've got them starting out from inside their own 15-yard line, which he did the last 2 times.
Olesic again with a short punt. Rhino picks it up at his 53. He spotted the seam and was able to dart through it to get inside the Edmonton 50 at about the 48. Brian Fryer cut the legs out from under him. A 36-yard punt by Olesic and an 8-yard return by Randy Rhino. And again, as you look at Rhino and the tremendous statistical year that he had, the Alouettes will be starting in excellent field position at the Eskimos' 47-yard line.
Second quarter, a reversal of the first. The Eskimos at first dominated. Now the Als, through field position, are doing so. It's a question of whether or not Joe Barnes can put together a march now.
This is John O'Leary. Got inside the 45 to about the 43, so credit him with a gain of very close to 5 yards. Dan Kepley and Tom Towns were there to make the stop for the Eskimos. And while we've got a second, I'd just like to tell everybody in the Regina area that I'm going to have the opportunity to be out there next Saturday for a big telethon for Notre Dame College. We certainly hope to see all of our friends and look forward to joining everybody from Pierre Murray's school, Notre Dame. Flags go down, and so does Joe Barnes back at his, or rather at the Eskimo 46-yard line.
Barnes is tackled by David Gould.
Likely holding the call against the Als.
That's the early indication by Dan Kepley and Dale Potter. They're looking to the bench and saying, this is what it is, Coach. What do you want us to do?
You know, we've mentioned that the Alouette defense has really hung in there tough the last number of plays. So have the Eskimos. They have done a big job.
You know, Pat, when we were trying to pick out something that was very critical, one factor in this ball game, I'd mention...
We have offensive holding. Number 60 of Montreal declined.
The call was on Bill Kahl-Winter, but you were saying, Frank?
Well, we tried to pick out one particular factor in this ball game. I picked the fact that the Montreal Alouettes, if they can run the football, can dominate this football game. So far, they have not been able to at all.
Third down.
So the Eskimos naturally decline the penalty on 3rd and 9. It sends Sonny Wade back to his 50-yard line to punt. They've got Greg Butler, Joe Holloman, Larry Highbaugh awaiting at their goal area. Well, we've got 7 minutes, 17 seconds left to play in this second quarter. It's a 10-3 ball game in favor of the Eskimos, and Grey Cup 78 will continue after this.
At one time, Canadian Pacific was primarily owned outside this country, in Britain, in the United States, and in a few other countries. In those days, Canadians were low man on the totem pole. But today, that's all changed. Today, over 70% of Canadian Pacific is owned by Canadians, and that certainly looks much better to us.
At Canadian Pacific, we believe what we are is important to you.
There's no lack of excitement here at Exhibition Stadium this afternoon, and there shouldn't be, because we've got a great ball game going. Sonny Wade, with that favorable wind behind him, averaging very close to 44 yards, is back to punt, hangs this one very high, but not as deep as previous ones. Holloman takes the ball, then drops on it right at the 10-yard line. A 38-yard punt by Wade on that occasion. There was no return, however, and it was extremely high, that punt. As you look at Huey Campbell on the Eskimo sidelines, his club was just so ready at the start of this ball game. They jumped out in front 10-0, and now the thing has settled down. It's a 10-3 score with 7 minutes left to play in this first half.
And you see Joe Holloman going off, shaking his head there. He must be a little upset. You remember in the Western Final against the Calgary Stampeders, Holloman mishandled 4 or 5 different kicks. He had a little better excuse then with weather conditions, but he did fumble that one as well.
The ball is right at the Edmonton 10-yard line, first down. This is Jim Germany. Germany is corralled right about the line of scrimmage. An awful lot of folks over there, including Glenn Weir and Carl Cronell and virtually everybody.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I was just going to say, Mike, that we haven't had a first down in this second quarter.
Frank made the point earlier that the Eskimos have a lot of trouble getting their offense going from deep in their own end. They don't have the full bag of tricks that Wilkinson likes to delve into. But the Alouettes defensively continuing to go with that 3-4 front and having a lot of success with it, I might add. Gord Judge is not in the lineup. We certainly have had no injury report. We can only expect that the Alouette coaching staff is trying to see whether or not they might have more success with that and stopping that short passing game and possibly shooting linebackers and putting a little more heat on Wilkinson.
As you take a look at Charlie Turner leaving the ball game, shaken up on that play. Turner, of course, was the right offensive tackle in that Eskimos offensive line.
One thing about it, Mike, I don't think the Eskimos are going to be able to have much success on that type of play, trying to get outside with Germany on that last occasion, because there's just too much quickness in that Alouette defense.
Hector Poitier comes into play, that right offensive tackle spot, number 63. The gain was, well, let's say a yard by Germany, make it 2nd and 9, Eskimos from their 11-yard line. Another critical play now for Tom Wilkinson with 6 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in this first half. Wilkinson fires it. It is complete, but short of the first down as Angelo Santucci made the catch, and now a flag comes down. And that will be a very critical penalty and not a particularly wise one.
Going to be
by
against
Vern
Perry. Right, Pat. That's one break maybe the Eskimos needed to get out of that hole that they've been in on the last 3 possessions.
Instead of forcing them into a punt, they now get a first down.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Pat. That just wasn't a very wise decision on Vern Perry's part, number 37. Santucci was nowhere close to a first down on the play.
They played it so well. Waddell Smith had tried to take them to the inside, but they had great coverage on Santucci. Now they're out of the hole, and that domination through field position just isn't available to them.
McGowan is flanked to the right of the offense, Waddell Smith to the left on first down from the Edmonton 30. The give is inside to Santucci. He crosses the 35 to about the 38. John Olenchuk, number 41, and Wally Buono, number 39, were there to make the stop after a 7-yard gain. Let's go down to Don Whitman.
It doesn't appear to be any serious problem with Charlie Turner. They have retaped his left ankle, and trainer Jim Adams is now putting on his left shoe again, and it could be a couple of plays, and Charlie Turner should be back in that offensive lineup of the Eskimos. Pat?
Thank you, Don. The game was 7. It is 2nd and 3 for the Eskimos from their 37. Wilkinson fires to Santucci across the middle for the first down at the 44-yard line. Chuck Zapek pinned him there, but a big gain, an important one for the Eskimos.
And as nice a catch as you'll want to see, Angelo Santucci having to go down to the ground to pick it out of the dirt. Zapek was right there. I'll tell you, he had to use great concentration to hold on because he was about ready to get unloaded on.
They spot the ball just inside the 45 as you look at Angelo Santucci, who's had 3 catches for a total of 15 yards this afternoon. Wilkinson fires, complete to Tom Scott, and he'll be very close to the first down marker. And if you know the kind of receiver Scott is, he has the first down.
Bet, you know, I mentioned to both you and Mike that I thought the Edmonton Eskimos offense was a little easier to defend when they were down penned in their own end, and I think it's really showing now. They're starting to get a little more diversified offense as they get up to closer to midfield. Of course, they started with such great field position in that first quarter, as you mentioned, when they put their 10 points on the board. But now Wilkie's got a little room to maneuver and do a few things.
They're also trying to cover those inside receivers on the sideline patterns by the inside safeties, and that's pretty tough coverage on a receiver like Scott.
Wilkinson is 8 for 11, right now with a first down at midfield. Fires, complete to Scott inside, into the Montreal 38-yard line.
Attracts a lot of attention. He comes off from his slot position to that right side. There's Chuck Zapek trying to take the clothesline. He just got in behind him. Tom Scott having a great first half.
The gain was 15 yards. Wilkinson to Scott. First down, Edmonton at the Montreal 40. 10-3 in favor of the Eskimos. 3:30 left to play in this first half. The give is inside to Germany. He gets to the 35 for a gain of 5.
Germany carried.
Gabriel Gregoire, number 62, making the stop for the Alouettes. And now the Eskimos looking as they did in the early moments of that first quarter.
2nd and 5.
Second down, 5 yards to go for Edmonton. They'd love to extend this lead. The drive started at their own 10-yard line. They find themselves now at the Montreal 35 with a 2nd and 5. Trips to the left side. And quickly the pass goes to Santucci. He'll be close to the first down, but might be inches away from it. Randy Rhino was there to prevent his reaching the 30, which is the position he had to get to. We've got 2 minutes, 44 seconds left to play in this half. It is Edmonton 10, Montreal 3, and Grey Cup 78 returns in a...
We talked about it being a physical game and how much attention Tom Scott is attracting. The play had been to Santucci, but Tony Proudfoot said, keep up your head, young man. I'm still around.
That's about the second or third time that's happened already.
It's third and less than a yard for the first down. Wilkinson keeps it. Warren Moon was in at quarterback. He kept the ball and has the first down.
They only needed inches. There wasn't much of a gamble there. They just went low to drive them out, and Moon followed in behind.
Joe Scannella has just gone over to Sonny Wade and told him to get up and start throwing the ball. So, gentlemen, you'll see a quarterbacking change when the Alouettes get the football back. All right, Pat.
Thank you, Bill. We've got another change because Wilkinson is back in, fires to Santucci. He bounces off the first tackle of Jim Burrow and now is knocked out of bounds at about the 24-yard line by Wally Buono, and that is the 6th straight completion by Tom Wilkinson.
Angelo Santucci having quite a day filling in for Don Warrington, who injured his shoulder earlier. He's been very effective, not only as a short pass receiver, but also giving a little protection to Germany, who's done a little more damage to that Alouette defense than we thought.
The gain was 4 yards. It is 2nd and 6 for the Eskimos, driving at the Montreal 24-yard line. Wilkinson to Scott. He's got it at the 5. Drops the ball. They rule incomplete pass.
I'll tell you, Mike, one of the reasons Tom Wilkinson has been throwing the ball so well is he's had time to put it in the air.
Well, here's another look at Tommy Scott. He does a great job. Jim Burrow, number 16, is in coverage. What a cut. Tom Wilkinson has it there. I'll tell you, that looks to me like a completed pass, and I think he was down.
The only pressure that really comes from him, we can start it up right now, is from Junior IU on the left side. He does not get there, however. Here he's coming in your picture right now. He does not get there in time till Wilkie has the opportunity to throw the football, but it is an incompletion, and once again, you're going to see Dave Cutler in the ball game.
The field goal try will come from the 31. It is wide. And Rhino goes down to concede the point. to make it Edmonton 11, Montreal 3, with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to play in this first half. Well, the Alouettes have got to feel fortunate to come out of that with only a single point against them.
Well, the big drive really allowed Frank because of the penalty to Vernon Perry. It looked as if that one penalty may have been disastrous. If the Eskimos had taken a 17-3 lead, boy, the Owls would really have been in trouble, but they were able to do a pretty good job defensively and come back.
You're absolutely right, Mike. They'd have been talking about that penalty for a long time. That was almost as critical as a turnover.
Sonny Wade is in at quarterback for Montreal. He floats it for Dallariva out of bounds. Actually, I think he wanted to go deep to Jerry DiTilio, but the coverage was really secure.
I think you're right, Pat. I think he only decided to throw it out there at the last moment.
Two people for the Eskimos I think are really stood out. Number 28, Butler, and this man, 64, David Boone, who's been doing just a great job from his left defensive end position. And our ISO man, Kenny Nielsen, you can always count on him, Frank. He comes up with some big ones.
Looks like Bonnet was kind of holding on for to get to David Boone there as well.
Gaddis is flanked to the top of your picture. DiTilio to the bottom on 2nd and 10 Montreal from their 35. Wade over the middle, and it's deflected by Pete Laverado very nearly into the hands of Joe Holloman. Sonny did not look sharp on the 2 passes that he threw.
You're absolutely right, Pat. I don't know if he's feeling that pressure, but you saw the linebackers come. Watch Tom Towns come from the right side. He did not get to Sonny Wade, but he was in there to hurry him just a bit, and his delivery has certainly been off on the first 2 occasions.
You know, Sonny Wade has been such a tremendous force in all of the big games the Owls have played in since he's been there. But in fairness to the man, he's had very little action this year because of injury, and you're asking an awful lot for him to come on with the heroics we've seen in former years.
He's punting, and Butler awaits at his 35. And without the tackle by Larry Utek, Butler might have gone a long way. As it is, he gets out to the 40. It was a 40-yard boot by Wade, a 6-yard return with an 11-3 score in favor of the Eskimos, and a minute 43 left to play in this first half. Well, gentlemen, we're going to give way to Don Chevrier and Russ Jackson in the second half, so I'd simply like to say how much we've enjoyed bringing football to everybody across the country during 1978, and barring a tie, we'll say so long at the end of this half. It's been great fun working with both of you. First down for the Eskimos from their 40. The toss goes to Germany, and he is rattled down at about the 42 by Carl Cornell, who showed you the kind of lateral movement he has to get over and make the stop.
Mike, I think I mentioned to you that the last time that Germany ran to the outside, they just got too much pursuit on that Alouette defense. And Pat, you're absolutely right. It's Cornell coming from that middle linebacking spot, and they really don't have anyone that's on him. Bono from the linebacking spot on that side knocks down 2 or 3 blockers and allows Cornell to make the stop and limit the gain to 2 yards.
Ball is spotted just outside the Edmonton 42. It is 2nd and 8 Eskimos with a minute 20 left to play in the first half. Wilkinson over the middle for McGowan. He does not hang on, and understandably, because he was simply crunched by Chuck Zapek.
Wouldn't have really made much difference, Patty, to gain about 3 yards. The Eskimos are going to have to kick it away with only 1:14 remaining in this first half. It's an 11-3 ball game. The Eskimos lead.
Hey, you won't see better linebacking play than that, though. Followed the receiver to the inside, unloaded on him, timed his delivery just perfectly.
I think if Zapek was around me, I might drop the thing too, wouldn't you?
Well, hello PEI and hello BC and hello everybody. We hope you're enjoying it because it's been a classic battle to this point, with Olisic ready to punt on 3rd down for the Eskimos. It's his best kick of the ball game. Rhino takes it at his 25. The ball comes loose. The Eskimos have it. Brian Fryer recovers the ball for the Eskimos after the fumble by Randy Rhino on that 42-yard punt by Olisic.
Randy Rhino has done so much for the Alouettes all season long. Runner-up in the Shenley Nominee Award for Best Defensive Player, and justifiably so. Premier punt returner, but with 1:05 remaining, he gives it up to the Eskimos at the Owls' 28-yard line. Brian Fryer, Johnny on the spot. This could be very critical, how much Wilkinson's able to make of this opportunity.
Hector Potier and Ted Millian made the tackle for the Eskimos. 1:04 left to play in the half. First down at the Montreal 28 for the Eskimos. Looking for McGowan, no good. Pass was a little high. The coverage being provided by Bruce Taylor for Montreal. The pass intended for McGowan.
We expected that Bruce Taylor may be worked on. Surprisingly, Tom hasn't gone there that much this afternoon. But here a post pattern by McGowan. But Taylor has excellent coverage, as you see, right on it. Good job picking up the blitz by Cornell to give Wilkinson the time, but pretty hard to work against that kind of coverage.
I thought that ball could have been completed, though, Mike, if it had been thrown a little lower.
59 seconds left to play in the first half. 11-3, Edmonton leading. Second down from the Montreal 28. Wilkinson throws, and it was knocked away by Vernon Perry, intended for George McGowan.
But I'll tell you, the Alouettes have to take a great deal of heart from the manner in which their defense has been playing. The Edmonton Eskimos were down there moments ago. They came out with only 1 point. Here they had the big turnover. Twice they tried to go to George McGowan. So much pressure, however, on Tom Wilkinson. The ball was not well thrown. It was not Wilkie's fault. That front four was through, putting tremendous pressure on him.
Wilkinson had completed 6 in a row. He has now gone 5 in a row without a completion, as Dave Cutler will try the field goal from the 35-yard line right in the middle of the field. And he is good. With 47 seconds showing on the clock left to play in the first half, the Eskimos have gone out in front 14-3. Cutler missed one earlier, got one in the first quarter. 2 for 3 isn't bad in any league, and he has given the Eskimos that 11-point margin. And unless the Alouettes can strike in a hurry, that's what they will take to the locker room at halftime.
You see oxygen on the sideline there with the Montreal Alouettes using it. Very excited. David Boone's in there again.
And Sonny Wade got the pass away to David Green, who was hit instantly by Ed Jones back of the line of scrimmage at about the 32-yard line.
Boy, I'll tell you, that Boone's had a great day. He's been working against both Kahl-Winter and Bonnet, depending on their blocking schemes, but what a big factor he's been. If they double-team Dave Fennell and triple-team him as they will sometimes, somebody else has to pick up the slack. Boone's doing it.
Clock is running right now with 32 seconds left to play in the half. 2nd and 13 for the Alouettes from their 32. Eskimos appeared to be offside. And Wade is dropped back at his 20-yard line. Dave Fennell in to make the tackle for the Eskimos. Their 4th quarterback sack of this half.
Looked like Ron Este to me, Mike, on the right side, the right defensive end, number 55, who jumped offside.
We've got 17 seconds left on the clock. Edmonton offside, so of course the sack will not count, and they'll get the benefit of the 5-yard penalty.
Second down repeated. We have a defensive offside, number 55.
Well, you were right, gentlemen.
It's pretty clear cut. You see Ron Este at that right defensive end spot. He'll jump before the ball snapped. It's like David Boone did as well. So you'll have a double offside. In any event, it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Montreal Alouettes. Just 17 seconds left.
Ball is at their 37. Wade setting up the screen for John O'Leary. Here comes Kepley, and Kepley was there to make the tackle on O'Leary as he got to about the 41-yard line, and it will bring up a 3rd down for the Alouettes. However, they will not be forced to punt the ball if they don't want to, because the clock will be whistled in the moment that referee Don Barker moves away from the ball. He whistles time in now, and the clock starts to run.
I would think they're just going to let it run out, Pat. Time's running out on us. Well, partner, thank you for a great season, too, and Frank, you as well.
Gentlemen, it was a real pleasure working with both of you.
We could be back if there's overtime.
It could be that, too.
Sonny Wade just grounds the ball. So the Edmonton Eskimos will go to their locker room with a 14-3 halftime lead, and they are full value for it. And now we'll make way for Don Chevrier and Russ Jackson, who will be bringing you the second half of what should be just a dynamite football game, because it's been that to this point. Tom McKee, thank you, and it's all yours.
At this moment, over 1,000 performers have mustered in the east end zone of Exhibition Stadium. They will perform our halftime show, the theme of which is Our Canada. And we will begin our trip from the East Coast to the West Coast, from Newfoundland all the way through to the Northwest Territories in just a moment. We certainly hope that you enjoy it. It's all sponsored by Lotto Canada. We'll be back with the halftime show when Grey Cup 78 returns in a moment. As we prepare for the second half of today's Grey Cup game, it's my pleasure to introduce my colleagues for the play-by-play and color commentary of the third and fourth quarters. Broadcasting his 11th Grey Cup game is Don Chevrier. Color commentary, a Grey Cup winning quarterback himself, Russ Jackson.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And Russ, the Eskimos dominating in the first half, I think may feel that they would like to have had more points than they scored with the advantage they enjoyed.
Don, I certainly think that coming out of the dressing room, they would like to be up about 21-3 rather than 14-3, but that Montreal defense didn't bend when they got in close to the goal line. It was that fake field goal that actually set up the touchdown.
All right, ready for the second half kickoff.
Rhino, Green, and
Dave Cutler, the ball teed up at the 45-yard line. Here it is. The second half of the Grey Cup game is underway. David Green still fighting across the 40-yard line. Good drive and momentum by Green in second effort. He reaches the 42 on a 22-yard return. Brian Fryer made the tackle for the Eskimos. And in the first half, this is the way they compare. The Eskimos, 139 yards total offense on the arm of Tom Wilkinson. The Alouettes, with mainly a passing game, they have not been able to establish their running game this afternoon so far. Joe Barnes is back, as you see, at quarterback for Montreal. David Green for a couple near the 44-yard line. There's no question, Russ, the Eskimos are watching Green very carefully today, and they've done a good job of tying him up.
John, the one thing they've not been able to do with David Green that they did so successfully last week against the Ottawa Football Club is get him wide, and this Edmonton defense is certainly geared to stop him. They're spreading wide with their defensive linemen and saying, if you can come up the middle and beat Dan Kepley, then you can have the yards, and they've been very unsuccessful doing that this afternoon.
Victor Annenson goes wide left as you compare the three quarterbacks we've seen today. Barnes out of trouble. And he went for Gaddis. It was knocked away. Gaddis nowhere near the ball, really. Greg Butler, number 28, with the defensive play for the Eskimos, who lead by a score of 14-3. It'll be third down and 8 to go for Montreal.
Well, one of the things that the Edmonton team has been able to do this year is put some pressure on those Montreal quarterbacks, and Barnes has had to scramble around and has been sacked twice so far this afternoon.
Sonny Wade is the Montreal punter. With the wind advantage, he hangs it high, and he hangs it deep. Coming down to Butler inside the Eskimo 20. Runs into his own blocker, Joe Holloman, and then gets taken down around the 26-yard line after a run back of 6 yards by O'Leary and McMahon. A 41-yarder by Sonny Wade. So the Eskimos have done the job defensively on the Alouettes again, as they had so consistently in the first half. Now we'll see if Mr. Wilkinson, who could be playing in his final CFL game, he decides to retire after it's over, directing them at the 25-yard line. Angelo Santucci for a couple. Santucci, a most effective replacement for Don Warrington, who went out early for the Eskimos. Junior RU, number 77, made the Montreal stop that time.
And one of the big questions will be whether Tom Wilkinson will continue to throw the ball as much as he did in the first half with that 11-point lead. Will he assume that their defense can hold the Alouettes?
Wilkie 11 for 18 in the first half. Santucci has caught 5. This is Jim Germany. Burrow meets him, gets some help, takes him down around the 31-yard line. It's going to be close to a first down, or the 36-yard line.
Well, Don, one of the things that we'll see is Junior Ayu is here, will go down inside by himself, and nobody will block him, and they will just outrun him. Nobody really takes any pressure on him. He throws the block off, a little bit of a block there, faking like a pass, and he's able to come back to the outside. Germany gaining that first down.
First down for the Eskimos.
Germany with 36 yards and 9 rushing attempts now gives the Eskimos a first down between their 41 and their 42. Germany again, met by Junior Ayu, crossing from right defensive end to limit his gain to about 3 up near the 40-yard line.
Well, Junior Ayu, number 77, passively took the play last time. This time he comes down with real authority and puts the good hit on Germany, trying to come off tackle.
They played a little over 3.5 minutes here in the third quarter. The score unchanged from the first half at 14-3 Edmonton. Second down and 7. Tom Scott out of bounds in the area of the 48-yard line, and Scott should have a first down for the Eskimos. Bruce Taylor, in his second game for the Als, forced him out.
Well, in isolation, we see Scott coming downfield. They had double coverage on him to the outside, but it was a good throw by Wilkie as he brought Scott back away from the 2 defenders, not allowing them to get between the ball and Scott. And you have to give Wilkie a lot of credit for that particular completion to Tom Scott, who's had 4 of them this afternoon.
Scott lined up left in the slot. McGowan is wide left. Waddell Smith on the right side for first down from the Edmonton 49. Germany hurdles through to the area of the 53. A gain of 4 to 5 on that carry for him. Chuck Zapek, outstanding in the first half, made the tackle right there.
Made the tackle.
The Montreal Alouettes had no injuries in the first half except for one, and that is David Green, who has bruised his ribs, and they were just putting some freezing on those ribs. He will continue playing, but if he gets hit there again, it could hurt the Alouettes, because, of course, without Green, they'd really be in trouble. All right, Don.
Bill Green's first game with his team was against the Eskimos October 1st at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, won by Edmonton 44-22. Germany again slips the first tackle, then is driven hard at the 53-yard line and does not get very much. It was Carl Cornell, the Als middle linebacker, with the Montreal tackle that now will force the Eskimos into a punting situation. It is 14-3, the Eskimos over the Alouettes. We are 5 minutes into the third quarter, and Grey Cup 78 will continue after this.
You're looking at Chuck Zapek. Chuck, how are you? Just pinched the nerve a little bit, he tells us, and so he's going to be all right, and he'll be back in action.
Hank Alisic, the Edmonton punter, on third down and 6, getting set to kick to Ian Mofford. Randy Rhino inside the Alouette 20-yard line they are, and it's a good one into that easterly wind. Driving Rhino inside the 10, and the first hit stops him from Waddell Smith back at the 5-yard line. Waddell Smith with a good hit, and then Brian Fryer to help him out on the play, and the Alouettes will go from inside their 5. A 47-yard punt by Hank Alisic.
That ball also hung up there for some time, allowing Smith to get down, and Rhino tried to use his speed to get outside, but he's got to pick on someone a little slower than number 71 with the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, that wind has been changing at field level. It'll gust up at times and calm down at others. And the combination of the calm wind and the great kick by Alisic has the Alouettes at a deep hole now as Bob Gaddis goes wide left. Victor Annenson on the right side. Joe Barnes, the quarterback. David Green reaches the 7 for a gain of about 3. Dave Pennell there to make the stop for the Eskimos. It'll be 2nd down and a good 7 to go.
They're working on Eric Upton at the Edmonton bench. His left knee, he twisted his knee, but Jim Adams is working on it, and Upton is anxious to get back in there. He indicated that he will be able to get back in, but they have some taping to do before he can go back in. Okay, Don.
2nd down. Draw play to John O'Leary, and O'Leary will come up just short by a yard or so of the first down in the grasp of Dale Potter, the Eskimos' left corner linebacker, number 30.
Don, the deep backs of the Edmonton defense have been doing a fine job of coming up and supporting the run this afternoon. The front four and the linebackers have been playing it well, but without any real speed on the Montreal offensive receiving core other than Gaddis, it allows those deep backs to play up fairly close to the line of scrimmage and come up and make the penetration and help on those running plays.
On 3rd down, a yard and a half to go. The Alouettes' Sonny Wade is coming in with the Montreal putting team to kick to these men standing back at the 50-yard line. Larry Highbaugh and number 28, Greg Butler. Wade out near midfield, the 51-yard line to Butler. And he takes it down with a tackle from Zapek to the 44-yard line, and that's where the Eskimos will start in excellent position now as they approach the midway point of quarter 3.
Well, both these teams have explosive punt returners, but other than that one run back that Rhino had in that first quarter where he brought the ball back about 22 yards, both teams have done a real fine job of containing the punt return men.
That time a 7-yard return as Smith goes right, McGowan left, Santucci lined up alongside of Germany. Quick pop to Tom Scott. Burrow hits him. It'll be a first down Eskimos at the 32-yard line of Montreal.
Well, going into the sideline, just an excellent call. Santucci lines up in the backfield and comes out in the flat area. You just see his feet now, and he pulls Buono, the outside linebacker, to the outside with him. Tom Scott just curled around him, and Wilkie delivered the ball for the first down. But a good call by Wilkie going to the short side of the field, using that back coming out of the backfield to move the linebacker.
The Alouettes have had great difficulty in solving that short passing game of Wilkinson's. Here's Angelo Santucci sliding right. Drives down to about the 28-yard line where Chuck Zapek made the hit. The gain is going to be about 3.5 yards. We have 7 minutes and 13 seconds until the end of the third quarter. 14-3 is your score, and Grey Cup 78 returns in just a moment.
Tom Scott has been outstanding pass receiver, does a job on Ayu here, and Ayu gets a little upset with this. He's doing a little of that Samoan dance he does on Scott's head and has a few words with him.
Get out from under my feet, Junior said. 2nd down, about 7. Wilkie cannot escape the rush. He was caught by Wally Buono. Finished off by Gordon Judges. And that play terminates well behind the line of scrimmage, but there is a penalty marker down across field.
Flag is down.
A legal procedure is the indication from the referee, Don Barker, against Edmonton.
Well, one of the few things that the Montreal team has not been able to do, and that is put pressure on Wilkie. This time they brought the 2 linebackers. They did get some pressure and threw Wilkie for the loss. And one of the few times this afternoon that the Montreal club has been able to put a little pressure on Wilkinson, forcing him to scramble out of there and then dropping him for the loss. And naturally, the Alouettes declining that illegal procedure penalty with the loss.
That'll make it 3rd down, about 14. Wilkinson getting set to hold for Dave Cutler at the 42-yard line. Slight angle left on the hash marks. Petler hits it long, and he hits it straight. It is 3 more for Edmonton. A 42-yard field goal, and the Eskimos have the equivalent of a 2-touchdown lead at 17-3 over Montreal, with 6.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
Dave Cutler's field goal, good from 43 yards.
Don, we're getting down to that time where the Montreal offense is going to have to show some authority and do something against this Eskimo defense that played just an inspired game so far this afternoon.
Barnes remains at quarterback. Quick toss out to Bob Gaddis. Gaddis for 5 yards. Has about 9 as he reaches up around the 38-39-yard line. The only really serious drive the Alouettes could mount in this game was highlighted by the long pass to Bob Gaddis. A 41-yarder. But neither quarterback, Barnes or Wade, who played the second quarter, have been able to mount a consistent offensive attack for Montreal so far.
Well, the only speed that Montreal has in that receiving core of theirs that is starting now is Gaddis. They tried to throw that hitch pass out there, but Tom Towns and Dan Kepler got out there and did a pretty good job.
2nd down and 2. David Green has the first down and then some. He slipped, and Kepley made sure he stayed down at the Montreal 50-yard line after a gain of 7. 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in quarter 3 now. Dan Kepley, the key middle linebacker, the outstanding all-star veteran for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Peter Delariva, who hasn't caught a pass this afternoon, does a good job on number 30, Dale Potter, in tying him up. Not really blocking him, but standing him up, tying him up, allowing the Green to get outside.
David Green again. Bumps off 1, 2, and lost a yard or 2 in that exchange as he was finally contained by number 24, Ed Jones. Este and Fidel both had shots at him. And the Eskimos have an injury problem down there. It is Dave Pennell, their big defensive right tackle, being administered to. That gain by Green was good for about 1.5 yards. The ball now between the 51 and the 52 of Montreal. Well, they called the front four of the Eskimos Alberta Crude so long that they wanted to vary it out there. They now call them Bone, which stands for, and here's a member, Brotherhood of Nasty Eskimos. Dave Pennell, president.
Well, from the end zone, Green trying to go off tackle here. Fennell gets involved here, and you can see him with the initial contact, falls down with Ray Watron, number 52, on top of him, and that probably was where the injury took place. But he seemed to come down heavy on his shoulder, but they seem to be working on his leg rather than the upper body, and when you're that big, I don't think you really hurt the upper body too much. But he's getting up now slowly, but it does seem to be a leg problem that he does have.
All right, Don Whitman.
Jim, Germany had some problems earlier in the ball game. Jim, your shoulder seemed to be giving you some problems.
Yes, I received a pretty good shot in the first quarter. Pretty good hitting out there, and I just got a real good shot in the shoulder, which hurt me a little bit, but it's all right now.
Okay, Don.
Bill Stevenson will come in to play for the injured Dave Fennell. This is 2nd down, about 8. Barnes gets the rush and goes down. The Alouette pass blocking could not hold it up for him. It was Ron Este from defensive end getting to him. It's going to be 3rd down and about 15 to go for Montreal.
Well, you never know where the pressure is going to come from when this Eskimo club gets going, and this time it came from Ron Este, number 55, the right defensive end, but he also got some help from York Henschel, number 69, who brought the pressure up the middle, not allowing Joe Barnes, any movement at all.
Not even sunny period here at the Exhibition Stadium as it's going down behind those clouds in the west. What a beautiful Grey Cup day we have enjoyed, no question of that, for this time of year. Beautiful punt down to Butler at the 20-yard line. Good run back. And then Zapek stops it at the 29-yard line. He brought it back 9 after a 43-yard punt. We have just over 4 minutes, 4:05 left The only scoring play in this half has been Cutler's 42-yard field goal to make it 17-3 for the Eskimos, who, as you have seen, have clearly been dominant since the opening kickoff.
In the first half, the Montreal defense chose to go with 3 down linemen, alternating Judges and Weir out of the ball game and bringing in a 4th linebacker. They've stuck basically with the 4 down linemen so far in this third quarter.
Angelo Santucci gets across the 35-yard line for about 5 to 6 yards. Zapek and Gregoire there to meet him for Montreal. Santucci's had a big game, not even scheduled to start. The injury to Warrington made it possible for him to play, and you see that time and time again at a Grey Cup game. There's the Premier of Quebec, René Lévesque, one of 7 provincial premiers in attendance today on their way to that big conference in Ottawa, which opens tomorrow morning. Premier Davis of Ontario alongside. Santucci hit down by Carl Cornell. Glenn Weir down there at the bottom. And that is going to deny the first down by about a yard.
Santucci carried.
Angelo Santucci, of course, the former Hamilton Tiger Cat, who is excelling now in the colors of the Edmonton Eskimos. Grey Cup 78 will continue right after this. Well, you can see Premier Lougheed smiling. Premier Lévesque not all that happy. His Alouettes are down to Lougheed's team, and I believe they had their annual bet on this year, which Premier Lougheed offered to double after last year's loss in Montreal. 17-3 it is. Just under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter as Hank Olisic gets set to punt. A good one. Randy Rhino, 35-yard line. Brings it back about 11 yards at the Montreal 46. Ian Bryans made the containment after the 38-yard punt by Hank Olisic. So again, Montreal gets an offensive opportunity in the area of midfield, their own 46-yard line. Trailing 17-3 to the Edmonton Eskimos.
Don, I was just watching. Joe Barnes was the last person to come off that Alouette bench, and I was wondering if maybe Sonny Wade was going to be coming into the ball game, but it is Joe Barnes still in there at quarterback, and the yards rushing, something of a surprise this afternoon.
The Eskimos have shut down that Montreal running game to all intents and purposes. They'll try John O'Leary right here, and O'Leary has some success. He will likely claim a first down. The ball comes loose, but the whistle had sounded. The tackle made by Pete Lavaretto, and that forced the ball free. O'Leary getting just across midfield. And they will call for a measurement now, and while they do, let's go down to Bill Stevenson.
Gabriel Gregoire is on the bench, as you can see. Gabriel, what's wrong?
Well, sir, just a full hamstring there. Try to relax. My muscles are so tight. I don't know what's the problem. So, c'est la vie, that's all.
You think he'll be back?
I don't know. Touch wood 3 times.
Well, let's hope so.
Second down, less than a yard.
It is second down and a foot or so to go for the Alouettes at the Eskimo 54-yard line. Chuck McMahon in the short yardage drive, spearheaded by Joe Barnes. Straight ahead, he should claim the first down right there. Allow this Montreal drive to continue with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining now in the third quarter. That is just the 5th first down for the Alouettes today. The Eskimos have claimed 15. That is a good indication of the dominance of the Western champions this afternoon.
We mentioned how little Alouettes have been able to run that ball, and it's rather interesting that back in that particular game on October 1st, Montreal only gained 25 yards on the ground in that ball game.
Barnes out to John O'Leary. O'Leary reaches the 47-yard line. He's going to pick up a gain of 6 yards for the Alouettes on that play. There is the leader of the opposition, Joe Clark, with Normie Kwong One of the very few football players to score 2 touchdowns in a losing cause. In Kwong's case, that came in 1952 when his Edmonton Eskimos lost to, of all people, the Toronto Argonauts, 21-11.
2nd and 3.
Second down, about 3 it is. Here's David Green, and he's wrapped up early. The Eskimos deny the Montreal first down.
David Green, carried.
Ron Este led the assault on David Green, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 4 to go for Montreal now.
Well, Ron Este, number 55, the defensive end, just comes into the inside and knocks Green off without allowing him any chance to go downfield. He just splits the block. Number 52, Ray Watson, trying to come out and trap him, and he just ran around him with his good speed and made the tackle and forces the Alouettes into a punting situation at a very key time.
Fewer than 30 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Olenchuk gets it back to Sonny Way. Good hang time. Larry Highbaugh at the 6-yard line. He can't break out of there. They wrap him up around the 12. It was Chuck McMahon, number 33, leading the Montreal defenders downfield after a 40-yard punt by Sonny Way.
And again, these are one of those situations where the Edmonton Eskimos do not show their prominence when they're down near their own goal line. Wilkie tends not to throw the ball as much, and they do not run the ball as well as possibly some other clubs coming out of there. And it was early in that, or late in that second half, in the first half in the second quarter, when Perry got a penalty that helped them get out of their own end when the Alouettes had them pinned down there.
One of those Alouette fans whose team is 2 touchdowns down appear to be having a good time with food and drink. Nevertheless, here at Exhibition Stadium, Grey Cup Day. Ball comes loose. It is picked up by the Montreal Alouettes at a major turnover at the Eskimo 10-yard line. Gordon Judges has recovered the Edmonton fumble on the final play of the 3rd quarter. So a dramatic development here to end quarter 3. Grey Cup 78 returns in just a moment.
On that last play of the 3rd quarter, Wilkinson has a bad handoff to Jim Germany. He's reaching for him. There seemed to be a lack of communication as to where he was going to be, and Judges picked it up. And here we go, starting the last quarter.
From the 10-yard line, first down. Barnes for McMahon, overthrew him in the end zone.
Don, I have to wonder how much the goalpost came into play there, because McMahon was open, and if the ball had been thrown a little lower, he might have had an opportunity to catch it. From the end zone, you can see what the quarterback's going to look at as he throws downfield with the goalpost there, and he did throw it up rather high and over McMahon's head and everyone else's.
Second down from the 10. Early in the 4th quarter. 17-3, Edmonton leads. Keeps the ball to the 5. Touchdown, Montreal. The Alouettes. Joe Barnes rolls it in from 10 yards, and it's 17-9 with a point after coming up. And Monsieur Levesque looks much happier.
Well, the key here will be Dave Bond at the right guard. He'll come out on the sprint out, and when he gets outside, he'll take Barnes into the end zone with a block about the 2-yard line. You watch number 50, and you can give him part of the credit for this touchdown as he leads Barnes right into the corner. He's going to get the big block on number 24, Ed Jones, allowing Barnes to get into the end zone for the first Alouette touchdown.
There he is, Joe Barnes. A good look at him. Just 41 seconds into quarter 4. Now Don Sweet will attempt the point after. There it is. The East and the West are a touchdown apart. 17-10 now.
Well, from the end zone, you can play defense. There's a little fake to Green that held number 30, Potter, in there, and this put the pressure on number 24, Ed Jones, because Potter stayed at home looking for Green, possibly to carry that ball, and allowed Bonnet to get around the corner and make the block on Jones about the 2-yard line.
Well, that is something perhaps that Joe Barnes will have to continue doing to loosen up that Eskimo defense, because they've been solid against both he and Sonny Wade this afternoon. Barnes has played 2 of the 3 quarters as the Eskimos get ready to return the kickoff now. Diane Jones-Konahowski, one of our many stars of the Commonwealth Games, Edmonton. Her husband has been sidelined with injuries, of course, a member of the Eskimo football team. All right. Here's Don Sweet. Butler to the 35-yard line before he was rolled back by Chuck McMahon. He brought it back 20 yards after the Joe Barnes touchdown that has brought Montreal to within 7 points as the Eskimos lead 17-10.
Don, that has to make the Edmonton offense think a little differently now with only 1 touchdown separating these 2 teams. Wilkie now has to try and control that ball, but he cannot play too conservative.
Germany for maybe 1 yard, not much more than that. Gordy Judges there on the right side, along with Wally Buono, the linebacker, contain him after a 1-yard gain.
A very interesting turn of events, gentlemen, occurred just before that fumble by Edmonton. Joe Scannella was back on the bench with quarterback Sonny Wade. He had him warming up and was telling him what he wanted to do. He did not see the fumble or the recovery. Suddenly he ran out. He motioned Wade to stay back, sent Barnes out, so he may stay with Barnes. But prior to that, Wade was going back into this ball game.
2nd down and 9. Germany, a flag has been thrown. He reaches the 42-yard line, which will be short of the 1st down. And it would appear that they may have a holding call against Willie Martin.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos had everybody going downfield deep trying to set up that screen, and Junior Ayu was putting the pressure on, and I think you're right, Don, that Willie Martin, number 50, the left offensive tackle, could be called for holding.
We'll find out in a moment. Don Barker, and he indicates it is holding. It has been declined, leaving it at 3rd down, a bit over 2 for the Eskimos from between their 41 and their 42. 13 minutes and 7 seconds left. It is 17-10 Edmonton. Randy Rhino and Ian Mofford back in the area of the 25-yard line for Hank Elisik's punt. He hits it to Rhino. Randy Rhino runs the seam back to the 49-yard line. Bob Howes with a tackle for the Eskimos.
Well, you often wonder how Randy Rhino does this so often, but I can remember talking to Coach Joe Scannella halfway through the season, and he says that this guy spends as much time watching the coverage of the other teams as they come downfield as he does watching the offensive receivers that he has to cover on defense. That time he brought it back for 23 yards.
Randy Rhino, one of the Shenley nominees of 1978. Barnes out to John O'Leary, and O'Leary tumbles out of bounds near midfield. The gain is about 5. Dan Kepley and Ed Jones with coverage for the Eskimos. The Eskimos off to a 10-3 first quarter lead and a 14-3 halftime lead, added a field goal by Cutler from 42 yards out in the 3rd quarter. And then early in the 4th, after a Germany fumble to end the 3rd quarter, Joe Barnes rolled in to make it 17-10. That's the way it is right now.
2nd and 4.
Second down, about 3.5 to go. Bob Gaddis. Gaddis was caught by Dave Pennell back in this ball game, and it prevents a first down.
Pennell made the tackle.
Don, if that pass had been thrown well to Gaddis, I think he would have got the first down because Highball was playing off Gaddis a fair distance, but he had to go back and reach up for that ball. By the time he got it, the other pursuit from the inside of the Edmonton defense had come out there and made the tackle, and they're probably going to have a look at this and see whether it really is a first down. I think you're right. It looks like it's about a yard short.
You saw Gaddis limping ever so slightly as he made his way out. There was talk of replacing him for this game, but he responded well to treatment during the week, and yes, they are a yard away from their first down.
And Coach Joe Scannella on the sideline not taking any chances at this time. Sending the punting unit in there.
Third down.
Highball and Butler back near the 5-yard line. There's a good look at Sonny Way. And a good punt from him. 15, 13-yard line. It is Butler. And there's Chuck Zapek to meet him and roll him back. Canada's Minister of Sport and Recreation, Iona Campanola, in the audience today, hanging in like more than 50,000 fans are for what is bound to be a great Grey Cup finish now with these teams 7 points apart.
Well, she has the ribbons on she told me she would have. I saw earlier this week, and she had the Montreal Alouette ribbons on and the Edmonton Eskimo ribbons on. I was asking her if she's playing it straight down the middle, and she said no, when it comes game time, it'll be the gold and the green ribbons that I'll be wearing, and you can see them on her fur coat.
From the 17-yard line. Stu Lang could not hang on. It is ruled no catch.
Don, that's the same play they used earlier where they used Santucci, number 23, going out of the backfield to try and move the linebacker Buono, and Scott, who lines up as a wingback, just curls around that linebacker as he moves into the flat area. That time the defensive back came up and really popped them, and he did not make the completion.
It goes to 2nd and 10 from the 17. Carl Cornell now out of the Montreal lineup. They have 6 deep backs on the expected second passing down. And here it is. Wilkie is going to try to keep the ball and will take a loss. Gordon Judges and Glenn Weir deny them any avenue of freedom, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 12 now for the Eskimos. Here is Bill Stevenson.
Well, there's no question, gentlemen, that the momentum has suddenly shifted to the Alouettes. They may be trailing by 7, but this bench is very alive. On every play in which Montreal comes up with a big play, they just leap in the air. The coaches are going out on the field, and they are alive. The momentum, as they say, and you know all about this, Russ, right now is with Montreal Alouettes.
Bill, you're right, and it certainly is changing.
Hank Olesic. Randy Rhino. There he goes again. Rhino hit hard by Kepley. He flew into Kepley around the 41-yard line, and Rhino, a bit slow to get up, is finally on his feet. He brought it back 10 yards. Well, a pause on the action now. Grey Cup 78 will continue right after this. There is a Grey Cup in search of a home. We may know in just over 10 minutes and 20 seconds. From the 41-yard line. Barnes, a motion to Gaddis, thinks twice about it. Este missed him. And here is the play incomplete. It is ruled to Victor Annenson, who hung onto the ball but was not in bounds.
Well, there's a rather fancy outfit in the crowd. Certainly she's got everything, and I think we know who she's cheering for.
No question.
Don, on that last play, they tried to set up a deep pass to Annenson down the sideline, and they faked that hitch pass out to Gaddis that they'd thrown before. We have an injured Alouette player over there.
It may be the Alouette quarterback, Joe Barnes. That is Joe Barnes down near the Alouette bench.
Well, Barnes had already faked out to the left-hand side to Gaddis, and he throws it downfield, and he gets hit after he's thrown that ball by David Boone, and he is really hurting on that sideline. There's quite a crowd around him, and this certainly will mean that Sonny Wade will have to come in and possibly try and pull this game out for the Alouettes with about 9:53 left.
Joe Barnes is getting to his feet. He's all right. It was the air knocked out of him, and he is going to be all right, and I assume, Russ, we'll see him back in the game.
Big charge on Wade. He had to hurry his pass, and O'Leary could not catch up with the ball. Dave Fidel came shooting through to apply the defensive pressure. So it goes to 3rd down and 10 from the 41.
Don, a good defensive play by the Edmonton Eskimos. They brought a couple of linebackers and put the pressure on Sonny Wade. They knew he had not been throwing the ball on the sideline. He's been sitting there for a little while, and therefore when he comes in like that, he can't throw the ball too far downfield. So they took the chance, brought the pressure, and it worked.
Wade, the quarterback, becomes Wade, the punter again. 9:35 remaining in the 4th quarter. 17-10 Edmonton. High but not deep toward the far sideline. It takes an Edmonton bounce. Wade is there and almost got the football. Flags flew, but the punter, Sonny Wade, was the Alouette on top of the receiver, Pete Labarato.
Don, they have to throw the flag no matter who it is, and when the official sees an Alouette player come in there, no matter who it is, the flag will fly. The question is, who's got the ball or who has possession? Is Pete Labarato, who tried to take that punt and was hit by Sonny Wade, came up with it. From the end zone, we see the ball bouncing here now, and Labarato's chasing it, and Sonny Wade comes in right here, and boy, he's playing like a running guard as he knocked Labarato off that ball, and there was quite a scramble for it.
There's Pete Labarato, and now he makes his way across under a full head of steam. Appears to be all right. We have an Alouette being attended to in the same area.
That better not be Sonny Wade.
No. It is Chuck McMahon.
Well, that entering the zone was the kick. The first down.
So they indicate that, yes, the intruder within the 5-yard restraining zone was Sonny Wade. That penalty marker has been erased. And the Eskimos have the ball at their own 23-yard line. There's McMahon. Pressure on Tom Wilkinson. He unloads in time. He almost threw it right to Glenn Weir. Weir was stacked up on top of a collection of Eskimo blockers and got one hand on it. I don't know who Wilkie was throwing this one to.
Don, I can't believe that Wilkie would do that. He threw a left-handed pass earlier when he threw that lateral pass to Germany that Zapek picked up and ran in that early in that first drive in the first quarter. That time he threw it into a pileup where he could have given a ball right to the Montreal Alouettes, and he threw it left-handed again.
Well, you mentioned the momentum factor. The Alouettes are coming on, giving him more and more pressure all the time.
Well, here's the left-handed throw. He gets pushed up by Gabriel Gregoire and Judges, and he throws it into the pileup.
He's going long as a flag has been thrown for Waddell Smith, and Vernon Perry makes the interception for Montreal.
And he's got some running room now, too, if they set that wall up.
The 50-yard line, another flag is taken, thrown down as Perry, who's exhausted, steps out of bounds across field. We had the one penalty marker as the pass was thrown, the second after the interception. There is Vernon Perry trying to catch his wind after a 28-yard return.
Well, there's some question about that. Wally Buono was in the area where the flag was thrown down after Perry made the interception.
We got a holding. Edmonton and a rough play.
He's got a holding on Edmonton and a rough play on Edmonton, he signaled, but I'm not sure whether that's it or not.
Well, the holding would mean that the Alouettes could decline it and claim the interception, certainly, because that happened before the pass was intercepted. Right out of Waddell Smith's hands. You'll see it again.
On isolation, he's going downfield, and Perry is in excellent position covering downfield like that. He's got complete view of the ball and the quarterback. The ball was tipped up in the air. Perry made the interception and had a lot of running room. Edmonton did a good job of recovering and keeping him to the return that he did get. But there are flags all over the field now, so I guess it's going to stand that Montreal will have the ball. The question is, where will they start? And it looks like it could be somewhere around the Eskimo 31-yard line.
because of the unnecessary roughness call. They declined the holding. That gives them the ball on the interception. Then they add on the unnecessary roughness against the Eskimos. And that will determine where the ball is going to be spotted. And the official is standing down at the 31-yard line of the Edmonton Eskimos. That's where play is going to resume.
Well, one of the things that Wilkie doesn't do, as well as a lot of quarterbacks in the CFL, is throw that ball deep. That time he tried to go for the home run ball, putting all the eggs in one basket. It turned against them, and Montreal now has the just super field position, trailing 7 points with a little over 8.5 minutes remaining.
Anderson wide right. Gaddis on the left side. Sonny Way goes for the end zone. Anderson can't catch up with the ball. Thrown offline, almost out of bounds by Wade. Joe Holloman was there covering him. It's going to be second down from the 31. Now 8 minutes and 15 seconds left. 17-10. The Eskimos lead the Alouettes.
Now, Sonny Wade 2 for 6 this afternoon, trying to go for that home run ball on that first play. Anderson seemed to be in the clear a little bit, but he just got turned around in the end zone and couldn't quite get to the ball that Sonny threw very well, where nobody could intercept it.
A big second down play about to unfold right here.
Now you got to be thinking screen or draw or Peter Dellariva.
It is David Green, and he dropped the ball. It's going to be third down and 10, Montreal from the 31. And the Eskimos have defended well in a tough situation, with the high-flying Alouettes getting 2 cracks from the 31-yard line.
Well, good coverage downfield as Wade goes back to throw the ball. He delivered it out to the side to Green, who was just a safety valve. Green, little footsteps coming up there. Greg Butler, number 28, and he didn't hang on to the ball, and now Sweet is going to have to try the field goal from about the 38-yard line.
Jerry DiTilio getting ready to hold for him. It's good. And the Eskimo lead is dwindled to 4 points. It is now Edmonton 17, Montreal 13. 7 minutes and 25 seconds of fourth quarter time left. Grey Cup 78 returns in a moment. This is Don Chevrier with Russ Jackson, Bill Stevenson, Don Whitman, Exhibition Stadium, Toronto, 7:25 to go. It's Eskimos 17, Montreal 13. The Alouettes have scored 10 unanswered points so far in the fourth quarter. The Eskimos led after 3, 17-3. Don Sweet will kick off as the Eskimos will accept from the 35-yard line. They're looking for a good run back. It is down to Butler at the 20. And he got himself an extra 3 yards from the automatic 35-yard line they would have started from. He brought it back 18. Larry Smith, number 36. One of the outstanding veteran Canadians of this Montreal team, made the stop. And there is the punt returning story and kickoff return story of Greg Butler in 1978.
And a good job by Larry Smith breaking in behind that offensive wall that Edmonton tried to set up and knocking the feet out from under the kickoff return man.
Except for one play, Wilkie has gone all the way at quarterback for the Eskimos. This is Jim Germany. Gregoire got him first, got some support from Vernon Perry, and is stopped around the 42-yard line. That'll be good for a gain of about 4. It was Germany whose fumble to end the third quarter gave the Alouettes new life. They went on to score an early fourth quarter touchdown. You've just seen a field goal by Don Sweet, and it's 17-13 Edmonton with 6.5 minutes left to play. Out to George McGowan. McGowan in of a big crowd. Does not get the first down, however. His first catch today, but he was surrounded by Alouette tacklers and taken down by Junior Ayew and Glenn Weir around the 46.
Well, you can see what happens here as Scott, number 22, came out of the backfield in motion. He's trying to go deep and force all the defense back. As he goes deep, they try and put the hitch pass out to McGowan. And Burrow, who had Scott, is not in the picture, but he comes up now, and he makes the initial contact on McGowan that prevented him from getting the first down, allowing his teammates to make the tackle.
Somebody move your picture, Russ. 3rd down and 2. Good kick by Alysic. This is Randy Rhino from his 15-yard line. A flag has been thrown as Rhino works it back to the 32-yard line. Don Farlinger made the stop, but there is a penalty flag down. A 17-yard return for this man, Randy Rhino. And a good punt by Alysic of 47 yards.
As Don Barker talks to his officials working this game with him, this is going to be a big penalty.
We have clipping, number 36, Montreal.
That's Larry Smith. And it'll take that run back of Rhinos back inside the 10-yard line. The Alouettes will start from the 8.
Well, in the middle of the screen, you'll see Tom Towns, and it probably wasn't number 39 Smith that clipped him. It was number 10 Ian Mofford that did the job on him.
Or both. From the 8-yard line, 5 minutes and 45 seconds left. John O'Leary across the 10 for about 3 in the grasp of Ed Jones, number 24. I'll guarantee you, nobody is leaving Exhibition Stadium right now with these teams 4 points apart at 17-13 Edmonton. Montreal with much the worst of it in terms of penalties. David Green in this 4th quarter, now 10 minutes old, has not carried the ball once for the Alouettes. They've been going with O'Leary. Sonny Way to Larry Smith. His first catch of the day. Lavarado makes the tackle, but Smith has what appears to be a first down. At the 19-yard line, they will move the yardsticks.
Well, a good call here. They caught Kepley coming on a blitz in here. You can see number 42 going in to try and put some pressure on the quarterback. That left the middle area open, and Larry Smith, who lined up as the wingback on the left side, just delayed into that area, and Wade managed to get the ball to him before Kepley got to him.
4 minutes and 37 seconds left.
I don't know where he's from.
Got an idea. David Green does get a carry, and is taken down by Dan Kepley around the 22-23-yard line. We'll keep an eye on that clock for you, down to 4 minutes and 12 seconds of 4th quarter playing time remaining. 17-13 Eskimos.
Peter Dallarive, who hasn't caught the ball this afternoon, does a good job again of standing up Dale Potter, number 30. He's pushing him downfield. Potter doing a pretty good job of keeping lateral with the ball carrier, but losing ground to Dallarive all the time.
2nd down, about 7 to go. Sonny Wade for Peter Dallarive. A completion. He goes out of bounds at the Montreal 40-yard line. First down.
Well, we mentioned that Peter Dallarive hasn't caught the ball, and immediately Sonny Wade must have heard us, because he comes downfield here after delivering that block on the previous play, puts a pretty good move on Ed Jones, but the ball was well thrown by Wade for a 17-yard gain.
3 minutes and 30 seconds left now. Draw play, John O'Leary, read well by the Eskimo defenders.
O'Leary carried.
And Kepley was in the middle there to help fill things in, along with Dave Pinnell. And that limits the gain to 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 from the 43. We have just over 3 minutes remaining. 3 minutes and 5 seconds officially. Edmonton 17, Montreal 13. Grey Cup 78 will continue after this. Here we go. There you see the vacant Edmonton dressing room, either to be a scene of jubilation or disappointment in just a few moments now. The Eskimos leading 17-13. We'll be in the dressing rooms for all the post-game information for you. 2nd down and 7 Montreal. Early movement. The play is whistled down.
Lines are down.
Procedure.
We'll let, there it is, Don Barkley tell us a legal procedure against Montreal. Movement both ways, initiated by the Alouette offense.
There's a legal procedure, number 60, Montreal.
That's Bill Kahl-Winter, right tackle.
Bill Kahl-Winter, the right tackle, will move early, and he forces. Here we go. But Bill, the ball hasn't been snapped yet.
And the Alouettes are forced back now to a 2nd down 11 situation from their own 38-yard line with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Sonny Wade, the Grey Cup veteran, fires it out for Bob Gaddis, and it's knocked away brilliantly by Larry Highbar. Only Highbar's speed enabled him to get there in time to make that play.
Well, Don, the one thing that happened there, that ball hung in the air for some time. If Wade had been able to throw that ball a little crisper, he might have got the ball to Gaddis before Highbar recovered to come back. On isolation, Gaddis knows he needs enough yards for the 1st down, and he's doing a lot of waiting for that ball that seemed to hang up there for some time.
Well, whatever win factor there is, it is in the face of the Alouettes in this 4th quarter. Wade will now punt into that wind on 3rd down and 11. Gets a dandy out. Back inside the 25-yard line is Butler, and he gets out to the 30. All down by Larry Utek. We have 2 minutes and 35 seconds left to play. 17-13. Eskimos lead Montreal. That was a 48-yarder. Let's check in now with Jenny Meldrum.
Diane Konahowski here. Diane, husband John not able to play, but it's a terrific game, and you must be enjoying it.
I am, but it's just too close.
It's looking that way now. What do they got to do to win?
Well, they got to start putting their offense together, really. So I hope we win it.
Okay, good luck. Thanks, Minnie.
Here's Santucci slipping one tackle, then not evading a second from Jim Burrow, and that limits the gain to maybe a yard maximum around the 32. Well, Diane talked about the cold. It's getting colder as the game progresses.
Well, on that last play, Don, it was Junior Ayu who came in here who made the big play, allowing Burrow to actually get the hit. He makes the penetration, forcing Santucci to the outside, and Burrows came up and put the good hit on him and stopped it for a 1-yard gain.
2nd down and 9, the 32-yard line. Here's Jim Germany, and he can't get away from Chuck Zapek. There's no gain. It's going to be 3rd down and 9. 2 minutes and 9 seconds left. I mentioned that temperature. It is unofficially -5 Celsius right now here on the lakefront of Toronto, Ontario. And the whole country awaits the outcome of this 1978 Grey Cup game. 17-13, the Eskimos leading the Alouettes.
Well, the Montreal defense did exactly what they had to do. Chuck Zapek, number 76, has just had a great ball game defensively for the Alouettes. He made that big play. Now we've got the situation where the Montreal punt return team can put the pressure on Olisic or go for the return.
They go for the return. A good punt by young Hank drives Ian Mofford back inside his 30-yard line. and he's ridden down immediately by number 77, Brian Fryer, limiting him to a 1-yard return after a booming 54-yard punt by Hank Olisic. The Alouettes starting rather deep with 1 minute and 42 seconds left at their own 27-yard line, trailing by 4 points.
Ball is on the 27.
Smith and Gaddis wide left. Annenson right side. Sonny Wade set to throw. Open is Gaddis, and then Highball filled it in along with Butler. Good defensive reaction by the two Eskimo deep defensive backs.
Pass intended for Gaddis. Incomplete.
Well, I lined Bob Gaddis inside and Smith outside. He just ran a straight fly pattern. Highbaugh staying to the outside, moved in, and Greg Butler thought he had an interception, but Highbaugh knocked him off that. But at this time of the ball game, you just go for that ball, make sure it ends up on the ground. But the Alouettes trying to put a little pressure on the inside safety, Greg Butler, by putting Gaddis inside and Smith outside.
2nd and 10. Wade for Gaddis. He's got it. No, he dropped the ball. Gaddis had the ball in his hands and let it slip through as he lost his balance near the sideline.
Wade's pass intended for Gaddis.
3rd down and 10. A big drop ball right there.
Well, the same formation with Gaddis on the inside, and he was wide open. He just couldn't hang on to that ball, and now we have the big situation for Coach Scannella on the sideline, deciding whether to punt or whether to go on the 3rd down situation with 1.5 minutes left in this 4th quarter.
He's going to send his punting team in, and there is the time remaining, 1.5 minutes. 17-13 Eskimos.
Now, Don, this is when the coaches get paid their money, because there'll be a lot of second guessing no matter what happens as to whether he should have gone for it with 1 minute and 30 left.
Sonny Wade, the punter, of course, quite capable of throwing off this formation if that's what Scannella has in mind. And here it is. The gamble has not paid off. The Eskimos contain Wade and take over at the 21-yard line. Dave Fidel and Pete Laverano as Sonny Wade, who seemed to hesitate a moment, could not find a man open.
Don, I'm not really sure whether that was called as a fake punt or not, because nobody downfield for the Alouettes seemed to be in a position, or appeared to be in a position, to recover the ball or get a pass. And Scannella talking to Wade on the sideline might indicate this, because Wade looked like he's going to punt it. Now when he goes out here, there's no one actually downfield looking to receive the ball. And he's now in trouble, but he has nobody to throw the ball to. And as he went to the sideline, Scannella and he are talking, and whether Wade did that on his own, I'm not sure.
I think he did. I think he did just that. Nothing wrong with the snap. No big rush. He had time to punt. The Eskimos will try to grind it out now along the ground and preserve this victory. Jim Germany took that one down inside the 20-yard line to about the 18. It'll be 2nd and 7. And there is the all-important time remaining, 1 minute and 18 seconds. The Alouette offense had gone into a huddle as Scannella had taken a lot of time in sending his punting team out. And I think that Sonny wanted to try it, wanted to go for the 1st down, and took a shot at it and missed. This play is whistled at. It could be time infraction against the Eskimos. If so, they will lose it down. 56 seconds left. Delay of game against Edmonton. Dave Cutler makes his appearance on the field again for the Eskimos. Of course, the Bat Breweries will present 2 automobiles to the outstanding offensive and defensive players of this Grey Cup game. The clock will start at the snap of the ball as Cutler tries from 25 yards out and is good. The Eskimos have a 7-point lead now at 20-13 with 51 seconds left.
The big thing now, Don, is they've got that converted touchdown lead, but there's still 51 seconds to go, and certainly Enough time for the Alouettes to move downfield because the Eskimos will be playing in a bit of a prevent defense, and if Sonny doesn't get too hasty about it, he can make some completions and maybe get them in position to try and tie this ball game up.
They will begin from the 35-yard line with 51 seconds left. Wide open is David Green again. He dropped the football. Green having a tough afternoon. It'll be second down and 10.
Well, that's two that David Green, number 26, has not been able to hang on to, as he's been the release man out on that left side. And with 47 seconds to go, it's up to the Edmonton Eskimo front four to put some pressure on Sonny Wade and make him throw that ball in a hurry.
Well, we've got somebody out of the field. The officials, the police will be coming out to escort away way down to the Eskimo end. And they'll delay play just until as long as it takes to get the man out of there. Being hustled off in record time out of the end zone. Tom Wilkinson, who may or may not be appearing in his final Grey Cup and CFL game today. He'll decide on the offseason. Second down. Wade gets it out to John O'Leary. And O'Leary gets the first down and steps out of bounds. Stops the clock at the 47-yard line. 39 seconds left. Well, the Football Reporters of Canada have named the top offensive player of this game, Tom Wilkinson. The top defensive player, Dave Fennell, and the Dick Suderman Award for the top Canadian, Angelo Santucci, a sweep by the Edmonton Eskimos.
386.
Unless somebody comes up to be a hero here, those will certainly be fine selections. Here's Bob Gaddis. He's got a great catch at the Eskimo 35-yard line. 32 seconds remaining. Ed Jones hit him and stuck with him. The Alouettes are not quite dead yet. What a finish to the 1978 Grey Cup game.
Well, this is what happens when you play prevent defense. Right now, Sonny Wade has to get this clock stopped with a completion to the outside or an incompletion.
Fires it out.
Out of bounds.
David Green heading for the sidelines and does get out of bounds. The clock stops at 24 seconds in the area of the Edmonton 27-yard line. Well, I'm sure football fans, supporters of both these teams have their hearts in their mouths right now. As Don Barker indicates, second down and about 1.5 yards from the Eskimo 27-yard line. Edmonton 20, Montreal 13. The clock will start at the snap of the ball. 24 seconds left. Here's Sonny Wade firing into the end zone. It is too far for Victor Annenson. Joe Holloman sticking with him step for step. 18 seconds left now. And third down coming up for Montreal.
Well, the choice of plays becomes important now. Is Sonny Wade happy enough to get the first down here, throw the ball on a quick out? I thought maybe he might have done that on that particular play. Make sure of the first down, then you've got the 3 plays to go to the end zone with. But he chose to go to the end zone with that one, and now he has to keep and make the completion this time.
18 seconds left to the 1978 Grey Cup regulation time. Wade bails it out. It's a loose ball. They will not get the first down. It was picked up finally by Ray Watrin. He tried to throw it to Bill Kahl-Winter, but did not get enough yardage for the first down, and that appears to be it. 6 seconds on the clock, and the Alouettes have been stalled. Wade couldn't find a receiver. Under strong pressure and in desperation, tried to let his lineman get the 1.5 yards they had to have to keep it going.
Well, Don, he pitched that ball out to number 60, Bill Kahl-Winter. The pressure came initially from Boone, number 64, forcing him up in the pocket. And then Fennell was there. He's the outstanding player. And if Kahl-Winter had caught that little pitch from Sonny Wade, I'm sure he'd been able to run for the first down. But you can't blame him because as an offensive tackle, do you really expect to have to make the big play for the first down?
He wasn't looking for it. No question of that. 6 seconds left. Wilkie undoubtedly will ground the ball. Down he goes. That takes it down to 4. And it appears as though the Grey Cup champion Montreal Alouettes are about to be dethroned here by the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, Tom Wilkinson completed 15 of 25 for 111 yards. Not a lot of yardage and not a great deal in the second half. It was the first half where the Edmonton Eskimos won this ballgame.
Time has run out. The crowd now standing and cheering the Eskimos. One final play to make it official. Early motion by the Alouettes. The flag is thrown and some pushing and shoving going on down there, but the crowd control is broken down. There are spectators all over the field now. And I'd be very surprised if they asked Wilkie to ground the ball a third time.
Well, Don, the Edmonton Eskimos can decline this particular penalty, and that will end the ball game because it definitely was the Montreal Alouettes who jumped offside.
There's the gun. It is officially over. Huey Campbell, in his second year as head coach, has won the Grey Cup. He now shakes hands, puts his arm around Joe Scannella, his opponent from Montreal. That lucky coin that Huey Campbell talked about came through for him again today. One that somebody gave him after a trip to Europe.